Well, I guess we'll start our book tour. All right, you guys. So obviously, losing my balance. It's fine. I don't have balance. Um, I'm starting with this shelf of my book tour because, if I'm being honest, it's literally just one shelf. Everything else is on that side of the wall, which is, in case y'all don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't know, but this is my bedroom. So all of my shelves are in my room because my goal is to live in a library. But here we are. So this shelf, put my coffee down because I am clumsy. This shelf has all of my Black authors with books that I love. So this is highly dedicated. This is specifically dedicated to them. So I do have my book here for, and by the way, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to pretty much just show you my shelves, but ones that really stick out, I'm going to speak a little bit more about. This first one is Talia Hibbert, Highly Suspicious and Fairly Cute. This is a YA. I have never, actually I have. I've heard of Talia Hibbert. Everyone talks about the Brown Sisters trilogy. I read one of those books. It wasn't for me, but this one I really did love. This is a YA about an overachiever and then a popular guy. They used to be best friends. And then high school happened. He became popular because he played sports, and she's like a conspiracy theorist. So she was like the nerd and the outcast, and they kind of went their separate ways. They ended up coming back into each other's orbit because they're both going up for the same scholarship, and they rekindle that friendship turn romance. So super cute. I really loved it. Skin of the Sea and Soul of the Deep, both by Natasha Bowen. This is the first time I actually ever read. I read this in 2022, 2023. First time I ever read fantasy starring Black people. Crazy, I know, because it's only what 3-4 years later. Anyways, the next book I have here is The AI Who Loved Me by Alyssa Cole. I recommend everybody and their mother to read this book because that book was the funniest book I ever read. I love her. She writes everything. Fun fact, she writes everything, whether it's an AI romance, whether it's mystery, thriller. She also, I have a few books over on the other side that you'll see later, where she has, she wrote about historical romance fiction. So she does write a lot of books on different topics, different genres. I truly enjoy it. Ray Lease, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm missing 2 books. She has a total of 6. She should be releasing the 7th book next year. Ray Lease is my favorite author, well, one of my favorite authors. Saving Sunflower, The End Game, 30 are the first, nope, Saving Sunflower and The End Game are the first 2 books in the Sun series. The next one is something, I can't remember, but that's the 3rd book. And then this is the 4th and the 5th book, which is 30 and For the Night. And then she has another book that is in the Sun universe, but not in the same friend group, which is At the End of It All. But these are all interconnected standalones. I love them. I eat them up. They are new adult. If you want to read them, just falling in love and all of that, except for the Night. For the Night is not new adult. This is actually age gap romance, but he's like 24 and she's like 35. I'm here for it. Love it. Then I also have Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I believe this was the first book I ever read by her. This is a second chance romance. A couple that was married and they didn't exactly fall out of love, but they had a traumatic experience happen to the both of them, and they navigated that tragedy in different ways where they couldn't communicate with each other. So they ended up getting a divorce, and then it's them rekindling and remembering why they fell in love in the first place. So not so much that anything bad happened within the marriage, just a circumstance. Really good book, I would recommend. Then I have my 3 books by Tia Williams, because Tia Williams, also one of my favorite authors. The Perfect Find is one of my favorite books of all time, across any genre, anywhere, any book, anything that you want to ask me about a good series, a good romance, I'm always going to recommend The Perfect Find. I scream it from the rooftop every single time. This is also an age gap romance between Eric and, I want to say Venus, but Venus is actually the lady for the Night. Eric and Darcy. It's beautiful. I I can't rave about it enough. I actually have a video about it that I had my best friend read, Liz, on Pero Kama podcast. I'll probably link it below so that you can watch it if you want to see it, but I loved it. There's also a movie on Netflix about it. I would recommend reading the book first. That's just all I gotta say. And then again, 7 Days in June, A Love Sign for Ricky Wilde. I read this year. This was fantastic. Another favorite author, A.E. Valdez. This is Colliding with Fate. This is part of a interconnected standalone series. This follows Quinn and Kyrell. Love their love story. I want all of the books, obviously, but I had to get my favorite one first. This is my favorite. I always scream about this. And then finally, we have Gabriella Guy. This is the Soul Crush. This is a Soul series. This is book 1. Soul Crush follows, this is new adult as well, and it follows this couple, Ariana and Kane, falling in love and navigating that. There is a lot that goes into it. I don't want to leave it as simple as that. It does touch on mental health. It does touch on trauma. This author, if I'm not mistaken, she has a degree in psychology, something like that. Don't quote me on it, but you can see it. She is the first person that I have read a book where she was able to describe mental health, and it made sense to me because I'm not someone that is around anyone that I know of that has mental health issues. So for her to describe it, and it just, maybe I need it dumbed down for me, sad way to say it, but I can hear someone say something to me, but to actually read it and see that person navigate it and go through it and try to fight, you know, not wanting to take medication because the medication feels a certain way and they don't feel like they're a man. And it's within my community where, you know, if we're being honest, Black people, even Hispanic people, I want to say minorities, there's no such thing as mental health. What's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with you. Shut up. Figure it out. So I always recommend this. I think this, I don't want to give away too much. I just really recommend, if you have Kindle Unlimited, all 3 books are available on there. I would highly recommend you read it. It is such an absolute beautiful love story. She did this so well. She did it so well. So now I'm going to take you to the other side so that you can see my other books. So this is where I got my name. If you notice on social media, my name is actually Colette's Reading Corner. So this is where I get it from. I have a little chair that I sometimes put here. I'll sit down, read, put my foot up on the bed. Fantastic. So these books, I have little floating shelves and then I can place the books on them. So up top here, I do have Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, all by Rebecca Yarros. I do have a Bas Gaiath hat, which is from the school. And I got it from, where did I get it from? Oh, I got it from my Fairy Loot subscription. And so I figured why not. And then here I have my 3 stories, Legend Born, Blood Marked, and Oathbound, my 3 books, I'm sorry. I believe this is supposed to be a quartet. This is by Tracy Dion. This is another fantasy with a Black lead, YA. Love it. I can't wait for the 4th book to come out. As you can see, I'm in the middle of it. I haven't finished. I'm working on it. We'll get there. Next up we have, on this side, Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, and then A Curse for True Love, all by Stephanie Garber. This is a trilogy that follows after Caraval, or they're interconnected with Caraval. I actually have Caraval as well. I have not read this yet. Oh no, I don't know. I just have it. They were pretty. I bought them. And then here I have Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I got actually Divine Rivals as a special edition from Fairy Loot. I ended up selling it because I didn't care for the special edition. I like the original better. And then this book here is Jade Fire Gold by, who was this by? June CL10. I should know that because I actually have a couple books by her. But, you know, this was good. This was a 5-star read. This was also a fantasy as well. Let's show you down here. Here I'm going to be out of the frame. but I just wanted you to see the books a little bit more clearly. So I do have Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This is a middle grade fantasy book. If you can't tell by now, I really like fantasy. So here we are. Middle grade fantasy book. This follows a 12-year-old. Her brother went missing and nobody seems to know where he is. She's then invited to a magical school that she never heard of. It's like a summer program, and then realizes that her brother was also a part of that program, but because obviously magic is not something that everyone knows about, they can't say what happened to him. So there's that. Also, I have these two books. Her Name is Night, which is the first book in the Nina Night series, and then It Ends with Night, which is the third book in the Nina Night series. This is a trilogy. Obviously, I need a second book. By Yasmin Ango. This was actually a birthday gift. My mom got this for me. So, yay, Mom. Fantastic. Love it. All three books are still available on Kindle Unlimited at this time of recording. So, just so you know, you can check it out if you want to. Then I have Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. This is a book that I did read with my brother and sisters. We do have a reading group. So with the reading group, this was one of the books that was recommended. I have Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert. This was okay. It's enough that I want to keep it. I don't know if I'll read anything else by her. Isn't that weird? I don't know. The next book I have is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. If you don't know, this book actually was turned into a series. So this is a series on Hulu. The series actually is ended. They're starting the second one, which is The Testament. So I do want to get that second book, The Testament by Margaret Atwood. Then I have The Cruel Prince and the Queen of Nothing, first and third book in a trilogy, Holly Black. I clearly have a theme here. I don't know. So Holly Black, she writes more traditional fantasy, not so much the romantasy, which is very popular right now. Nothing wrong with that because I eat up the romantasy. I'm just letting you know. In case you don't know, she's more traditional with it. The Cruel Prince and the Queen of Nothing. And then the second book is The Wicked King. Fantastic series. I loved it. It was just great. It was great. It was, you know, filled with the Fae and they're tricksters and they're getting humans to come to the real because they can't procreate like we can, all of that type of stuff. So it's really good. Definitely a lot of political intrigue as well. So if you're into that type of thing, this is for you. Also, I have Red Rising and Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, first and second book. The third book is Morning Star. These first two books were 5 stars for me. The second book was a 4.5. Now, this is a part of a trilogy. Is it really? It's a part of the trilogy, and then he has another trilogy set that came out. That trilogy is following the same lead character, but like 10 years later. It's a lot. I know I got my husband into it. He's farther ahead of it than I am. Not to say I'm not going to read it, just that as of right now, this is where I'm at. And then finally, I do have Becoming by Michelle Obama. This book changed how I looked at Michelle Obama. And I hate to say that because, you know, people are people, right? You want to make sure that you're definitely not trying to judge anyone or anything like that. But this book really opened my eyes to Michelle Obama, who she is, what she wanted, where she expected her life to go, and then where her life ended up going with her husband, who was former President Barack Obama. So really good read. I'm not really big on what do you call them, autobiographies, but that book was immaculate. I really loved it. So there's that. Okay, so now this is my wall. Have I read all these books? No. It's really more so a wall of TBR, but that's fine. We're gonna get into it. Starting here, obviously, this is my Ali Hazelwood set of books here. Check and Mate, Bride, Love on the Brain, Not in Love, and then Deep, all by Ali Hazelwood, obviously. Check and Mate was the very first book I ever read by Ali Hazelwood. I loved it. I gave it a 4.75, only because I went into it thinking they were adults. They were teenagers. Well, the girl was a teenager. She then became legal, and then she had her romance. There isn't any smut or anything like that. What I do like about Ali Hazelwood is she writes about a lot of women in STEM, or that are overshadowed in that type of world. And so I love that this character was able to get what she needed. Bride, this was super funny. I gave this 4.5 stars. That is one of her first, that was her first, if I'm not mistaken, outlet into fantasy. Super funny. Still a woman in STEM. This one contains werewolves and vampires. It was funny. It was cute. A lot of people didn't like it. I enjoyed it because they're vampires and werewolves. I don't really know where you want them to go with that type of fantasy, but it is what it is. And then I also read Not in Love. I had a hard time reading that book. She did state in the beginning of the book that it was out of her normal genre, so it was a little bit different. It was just, I don't know, it was hard to rate for me. And then these two I still haven't read yet. I attempted to, and by attempt that means I put it down, but I didn't actually pick up the book. My next set of books here are the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins, whatever. The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and then Mockingjay were the first three books written. This was back like in like 2012, 2013, 2014, something like that. I read them years ago, like mid-20s, late 20s when I read these. Loved it. I thought this was fantastic. And then she also came out with The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is about Professor Coin. Nope, not Professor Coin. President Coin, my God. That's his story. And then Sunrise on a Reaping is Haymitch's story, which he is a factor in these three books as well because he is a sponsor for the characters in this book. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. They did really good on the movies, but the books typically are just always better. And then here I have Binding 13 and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. These two books, first of all, the way this book was sold to me, I got this off of a TikTok recommendation. This girl told me she loved it and they were having sex and they did all the things and it was such a great love story. Granted, I like the love story between them, but they're kids. Just so you know, so you're going into it and you're fully aware of what's happening. I don't want to read about children hunching. I'm fully aware that children have sex. I don't care. I'm too old for that. I don't want to read about that. That's just my thing. However, still a fantastic series. I loved it. I read these two books and then the next two I actually have on my wish list, which follows the female main character's older brother. Do I want to continue with them? I don't know. I'm kind of off of it only because the next two books, like I said, follow the female main character's older brother, and his book was so traumatic. I was not ready. I was not prepared. The next three books I have here are House of Pounding Hearts, House of Beating Wings, and House of Striking Oats, all by Olivia Wildenstein. There should be a fourth book in this series as well. I haven't read it yet, but these, I love them. Now, I have recommended them to other people. This is one of the few books that I recommended people and they're like, no, Colette. No, I enjoyed it though. I ate them up. I wanted to own them. I enjoy her work. She has a bunch of books I actually want to get, so read at your own will. But this follows a young woman that is in love with the prince, and there's a prophecy, and she goes on a journey, and it goes from there. Definitely fae. Yeah. Fantasy, y'all. And then I have Blood at the Root by Ladarian Williams. Let me tell you how this was sold to me. This was sold to me as, what if Harry Potter were black and attended a HBCU? And I said, what? What? Did I read it? Yes, I did. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely. I gave this 5 stars. So fun fact, I gave it 5 stars. It still didn't make my top 10 of last year. Ain't that something? But yeah, the second book is now out. I do want to get it. When we get to my wall of TBR, you'll see why. These next 2 books I have is The Last Star and The Infinite Sea. These are part of the trilogy of The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. They did a movie about it. They only did the first movie and they never continued, which is fine because I don't know what that movie was about, because it wasn't about this book. I can tell you that right now. Now, I actually received The Fifth Wave, which is the first book in the trilogy, as a gift. Where is that book? I couldn't tell you. I know I have it because I literally have a picture of it in my camera roll. Cannot find it. I don't know where it's at. This book is The Dividing Sky by Jill Tu. I actually met her this year. I went to the Black Romance Book Festival that was held in Atlanta, and she had a banner up, and she had her books, and she actually sold a special edition. I actually want to show you. This was a special edition, and it has the bird on the edge. Can you see? And then The Dividing Sky by Jill too. And she basically broke it down for me. What about, it's a dystopian love story, basically. And when I read it, I enjoyed it so much. I gave it 4 stars, but I really did enjoy this book. I actually pre-ordered another book that came out this month from her called An Ocean Apart. But this one follows 2 characters. What are their names? I couldn't tell you. But this follows 2 characters, and it's just way in the future in the US. The water levels have risen, and people are just basically forced to work. You have to work to earn enough credits. People don't even have homes. They're not housed. It's a huge thing. And then they find these people that are living off the grid and realize that the powers that be are forcing you to work so that they can make money while raising the prices and not taking care of the people that are working. Like, literally throughout the story, you'll see her and her best friend are talking, and it's like, oh snap, I can't keep talking to you right now. I'm gonna fall behind on my credits and I won't get paid. What do you mean? If I worked X amount of money, you're supposed to give me X amount of dollars. It doesn't work like that in the future. So it really is a good story. I would highly recommend it. But yeah, The Dividing Sky by Jill too. All right, so now we're getting into some books that are read in my TBR pile. Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. She wrote the Mortal Instruments. They turned it into a movie. The movie didn't do great, which no comment. And then they also turned it into a series. People did enjoy the series. I personally did not care. It is what it is. But she wrote Chain of Gold. What is this about? I don't know. I just know I wanted to read it because Carrie Can Read, who is one of my favorite booktubers, loved it. Have I read it yet? No. Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. I saw someone talking about this. I don't know what it's about. I don't know. I just know it's a pretty cover. Let me show it to you. I thought it was super pretty. And so I wanted to read it off of that. It says, we will fight, but first we will have tea. I don't know. Sounds good. The next book I have is The Iron Widow by somebody. I'll insert it. Honestly, I got this for the cover too. I am definitely a buy a book by the cover type of girl. That's me. Isn't this beautiful? Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao. Beautiful cover. And then we have The Cost of Knowing. I don't know who I heard this from. I just heard about it. I thought it sounded good, so I got it. I got Nocturna. I heard a lot of good things about this book, so I definitely wanted to read it. What is it about? I couldn't tell you. I know they're traveling. I know it has to do with magic. I still couldn't tell you. And then I have this, Rhythm and Muse. Again, I don't know why I get these books sometimes. Sometimes I just hear people talking about stuff, and it's like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let me get it. So I got that. That's the same with this, 4 Aids and a Funeral, which is like four weddings and a funeral. But this is Arabic? I don't know. 4 funerals, 4 Aids and a funeral. So I just thought this was super cute. It is a YA, but I love the cover, so I was like, I have to get it. And then this one I got as well because I like the cover. Blood Scion by Deborah Fillet. What is it about? I don't know. I don't know. I just know they're pretty and I want to read it. So those are these books. This is all my TBR right here. Then we're going down here to George R.R. Martin. Liz got me this for Christmas, A Song of Ice and Fire. If you watch Game of Thrones, you know that this is the source material for Game of Thrones. They strayed from the source material. However, he also didn't finish the series. So there was only so much they could do. So, yeah, I just want to make sure you're still on. So you have Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords, A Feast for Crows, and A Dance with Dragons. Have I read them all? Yes. Do I remember them? I have to go back and read them. We'll see. This is my special edition, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I absolutely love, 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 love Pride and Prejudice with the one with Keira Knightley in it. I love the series that they did. I had never read the book until this year. Beautiful, fantastic, 5 stars. I highly recommend. This is mine. It has the gold gilded edges on there. I love it. So of course I have to have you showing because you deserve it. And then I have my cup here with all my bookmarks and things like that. Here I have The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. I just read this. She is an author that will be at the Black Romance Book Festival. This was okay. This was a romance. I loved it. Then A Couple's Devotional. I got this when I got married to my husband. It's a devotional for the both of us. You pray, you talk about certain things, see how you would handle it, or if that situation arises, where we would go from there, blah, blah, blah. Then I have The Sweetest Love by D. Rose, another author that I met at the Black Romance Book Festival. I will not read anything else from her. Not that she's a bad writer. Her books are just not for me. I honestly, it was all right. I gave it 3.5 stars. This is How to Love a Jamaican by Alexandria Arthurs. This is a book that I recommended for my sibling book club. No, I ain't even finish it. Because my husband bought this for me as a gift, though, I'm not going to give it away. I'm going to let it sit here. It's fine. Again, Sweet St. Louis by Omar Tyree. One of my favorite books of all time. Omar Tyree and I, we kind of have beef a little bit. But again, love this book. I have to have it. Little Mama's Rules by Shaneska Jackson. I read this in high school. This is a book I should not have read in high school. But it was really good. So I got it because I was telling my mother-in-law about it. She is also a reader. And I got it because I was like, yo, I can't believe I never owned that book. That was such a good book. And then the final one I have over here is Solace by Miss Candace. It's a part of a trilogy. Loved it. Super cute, super quick. It's a romance. It's a hood romance. And then here I have An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I have not finished the series. I definitely plan to finish the series, but as of right now, I only read book 1. I literally have purchased all 4 books in the series. I know I'm going to enjoy it. I ate this book up. I'm just not in a series or fantasy mood right now, so that's where we are. I have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This was a movie. Basically following a young girl that lives in the hood, but her parents send her and her brother to a private school, and she's stating that how she has to be a different person within herself. When she goes to school, she presents one side. When she's home, she presents another, and those two never commingling. So her friend that she grew up with ends up dying. She was a witness, and basically addressing the system and how some people just never get their just due. So, really good movie. I enjoyed the movie. I haven't read the book, so I did want to read the book. This is The Rose and the Dagger and then A Wrath of Dawn. These 2 books are a part of a series. Amazon decided to send me 2 different books. I got it because I liked how this cover looked, right? So I expected the other cover to look like this. It doesn't. I don't even want to show it to you. Upset my soul. This I won in a raffle, Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. I read the Curvy Girl Summer last year, or this year actually. So this is another book in the series. They're interconnected standalones, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the next book. This is Spending Silver by Naomi Novik. I had went on something and I was like, are there any good standalones? Because everybody is writing fantasy, or not fantasies, series. And I was like, I need some standalones. I don't want to just be in a series for the rest of my life. And so this was recommended to me 2 years ago. I'm going to get to it. It's fine. The next book I have here is The Iliad and the Odyssey, both by Homer. I know this is like required reading in school. I was not required to read this. So I don't know what none of them about. Well, I know what it's about, but I don't believe I've ever read the story. I'm pretty sure I watched the movie or I know the gist of it. I want to read it. Up here we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This was recommended to me by Liz. She loved it, so I definitely want to go ahead and read it. These next 2 books are Marie Lu. This is Legend and Prodigy. I heard this is a really good series. I don't know what it's about. you're going to find out a lot of my books on my TBR, I don't know what they be about. It is what it is. This is The Principle of Moments by Esme Jakimi Pearson. I hope I am saying your name properly. This was a girl I watched on BookTube. She was opening her books from a Lumicrate. This was one of their special edition books. I literally wanted it because the special edition was pretty. And then she read the synopsis and I was like, oh, that sounds great. What is it about, Colette? Here we are. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was all over Bookstagram, BookTube, BookTok. I still haven't read it. I know Liz really enjoyed this, so I do want to read this. The next book I have is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. It sounded good. I really enjoyed The Secret Life of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And so I wanted to read something else from her. But then I read Gallant by V.E. Schwab. It didn't do it for me. So now I'm scared because I don't know if that was just a one-off good book or if, you know what I mean? But I've heard a lot of people say that her books are hit or miss. So I'm going to definitely try it out and see. The next book I have is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. It's Christina Lauren. I really enjoy their books. So, yeah. The next one I have is How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwang. I don't know. It's here. And then I have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Now, I do know this was turned into a show, which is why I ended up getting this book. I did start it. I know it's sci-fi. I realized I was not in a sci-fi mood. So as of right now, it is a soft DNF. Soft DNF because I know I'm going to finish it. I would typically eat that up. I'm just not in the mood. I don't want to rate it unfairly because I'm not in the mood for it. This one I got, you would have seen in the last video, The Runaway Duchess by Joanna Lowell for my birthday. So you're up here. And then I have Dear Martin by Nick Stone. And then this book I have because White Nights by Dostoevsky. Sure, let's go with that. What's his name? Jack Edwards. That's his name. Jack Edwards recommended it, so now I'm going to read it. Next book I have is Moses and Akhenaten. This is supposed to be telling you how Moses might have been Akhenaten, who was a king in the Egyptian time, and the similarities between their stories. I'm intrigued. I'm going to read it. Next book I have here, An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole. Again, this is a historical fiction romance. See what I'm saying? The last one was The AI Who Loved Me. And then this other one over here, How to Catch a Queen. Like, she writes what she wants. This was, I won in a raffle. I Am Watching You by Teresa Driscoll. I still haven't read it yet. I definitely want to get to it because I do want to get into more thriller books. Drunk on Love by Jasmine Guillory. I really do enjoy her writing. So, I mean, it was Jasmine Guillory, so I got it. Beast of Prey by Ayana Gray. I heard nothing but good things about this. This was a fantasy, so I definitely wanted to read this. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This is me telling you I was never going to list out all the books, and here we are with me listing out all the books. It's fine. It's fine. Work with me. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. And this is what I was telling you, Stephanie Garber. Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. This is the first 3 books that she wrote before she got to Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Everyone loved that series. A lot of people love this series as well. So I definitely want to read this first because the main character, or the male main character, that's what it is, from Once Upon a Broken Heart was introduced in this series. So I want to read this. I was told that I don't need to read this in order to be able to read that. I still want to read it anyway. I'd rather just go in order, but that's a me thing. So here we are. Here we are. So this is my book cart. This is my book cart. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. Currently in the middle of reading this. Blitz by Devney Perry. You just saw me get that on my last video for my birthday. Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. She wrote Everything. The Star Is Also a Sun. She had a bunch of her books turned into movies. So pretty cool. I do want to read her. She's also Jamaican. Did y'all know that? Because I didn't know that. So there's that. Did you hear about Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul? This is the first book of the month book I ever got, so I'm interested to read this. This is The Lion Woman of Tehran by Marjan Kamarli. This book was one of the finalists for Book of the Year for Book of the Month, so I ended up getting that. We also have The Ministry of Time by Kayleen Bradley, Ready or Not by Cara Bastone, Dragon Fruit, let's move this, The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong, and then Rebel Witch by Christine Cicciarelli. These are all books. I love y'all. I'm not about to pull all these books out. Mad Honey in the Front by Jodi Picoult, The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates? I need to go back online and remember how to pronounce his name. But yeah. The Fury by Alex Michaelides, A Song to Drown Rivers by somebody. Anne Liang. Immortal Consequences. A lot of people have been reading this book. I want to read it as well. And then these are my Fairy Loot editions that I have down at the bottom. All of these are Fairy Loot editions. But this is The Temptation of Magic. I'll just take this out so you can see it. Sprayed edges. It's like a marble sprayed edge. Red top. And then it comes with the end papers. And then typically the book itself. Usually they'll do a reverse dust jacket also. So there's that one. And then I have Cruel is the Light by Sophie Clark. End page, book, reverse dust jacket. Yeah. So these are books that I also want to read as well. So, oh, and then the final one, I just saw this. My mother-in-law had this the other day. This is The Unwanted by Lisa McMahon. This is a fantasy middle grade book, but I was reading it, the synopsis, and I was like, this sounds really good. So here we are, right here to read. Now, finally, I'm gonna go ahead and open up my book of the month that I received. That will be the last 2 books on my TBR because I haven't read them yet. And then that will conclude this video. So, okay. So, I took you around my bookshelves. And now to finish it all, I'm going to show you my book of the month that I have gotten. So, fun fact as well with book of the month, since it is my birth month, October, they give you your normal book choice. So you use a credit for that, and then you get a free book for your birthday. So my normal book choice for this month was Red City by Marie Lu. It says, alchemy and ambition, power and perfection, love and lies. Welcome to the Angel City. Don't let it break your heart. Now, again, I showed you Marie Lu. She wrote Legend and Prodigy, and that's part of a quartet. But I got this simply because it has the sprayed edges. Oh, look, it's upside down. There we go. Yeah, it has the sprayed edges on there. I thought it was super cute. So I do want to let you know, though, if you do get book of the month and you choose to get it with the sprayed edges, it is an additional $2.99. So, but it doesn't come with like end papers or anything like what Fairy Loot has, but still, it's fine. And then the second book that I got, which was my birthday choice, was The Boyfriend Project by Farah Roshan. This author is going to be at the Black Romance Book Festival next year in 2026, so I wanted to read one of her books to see if I want to possibly get it signed. Oh, fun fact that I forgot to tell you, with the Fairy Loot editions, those are actually signed as well. Is this on? Okay, I just want to make sure. Those are actually signed as well, usually digitally signed, but still signed nonetheless. And I do believe it's like 3,500 copies of each book, so they only have a certain amount of people that can actually get those books. So when they say special edition, they mean that you're one of 3,500 people in the world that has a copy of that book. So again, Farah Roshan, she's going to be at the Black Romance Book Festival next year. I do want to read it and see if I want to possibly get it signed. If I don't like it, then I'll probably put it in a free little library. But you guys, that wraps up our video. Hold on, what's in here? Oh, this is so cute. It comes with a bookmark also. I forgot to tell you. And it says, you page? That's so cute. So you guys, this does wrap up our video for my bookshelf tour. It was a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. I do speak fast, so I hope you're able to understand me. But yeah, these are the books that I have in my room that just speak to me, that I love, that I have here. Hopefully I've interested you in, or got you interested in reading some of the books that I have or possibly want to read. Let me know. But you guys, thank you so much for watching, joining with me. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye.